Arcanine and Arcanine. One's a fire type and the other's blind. It's Arcanine and Arcanine. Fuzzy orange friends till the end of time. It's Arcanine and Arcanine. Cruising the Pokemon path since 1999. It's Arcanine and Arcanine. Get ready for another episode of Pokemon Timeline.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Pokemon Timeline, the series that dictates each set in the Pokemon TCG on the 25th anniversary of their release, and breaks it down into tangible, simple, short, and understandable, relatable facts for the fellow friends and collectors in the TCG. I am Arc, the Canine, and this is my friend here, Arcanine. So, without further ado, y'all, let's do our best to try and collect them all. So, today we're going to be talking about the set Team Rocket or Rocket Gang. Now, this was the 5th set that came out for America, but it was still the 4th set for everybody else, in Japan, because, Japan hadn't had base set 2, as you remember that we talked about in the last episode. But that's perfectly alright, that's fine, Now, what was interesting about this set, or one of the many things, is that this was the first set to introduce Dark Pokemon. The Dark Pokemon in Japan were called evil or bad Pokemon, but we got them over here as Dark Pokemon, which was fine. They were still really cool, still got the artworks and all that stuff. This set was also the first set to introduce Secret Rares. And we got our first Secret Rare with Dark Raichu, and this card on its own actually caused the set to be delayed by like 2 months, something close to that, which is kind of incredible when you really think about it. But not only that, this was the very first English set to introduce Holo Trainer cards and a Holo Energy. Yeah, we even got a Holo Energy in there. So we're really kind of moving up in the world here in the TCGs. So, like all the other sets that we'd had before in English, except for base set 2, this was first edition, and you could get it in unlimited, so you had both. So, what was interesting is that this set was actually released still about 2.5 years before. This was released on November the 21st of 1997 actually, in Japan, but was released today, April the 24th, 2000, here in America. But it was released in July of 2000 in other languages. So, kind of funny enough, and it actually had 65 cards in Japanese. But here in America, we had 83, because you gotta include the rares. You gotta include the rares and the Secret Rare, which was Oz alone, which is the coast decided they were gonna do that. Now, there were 18 holos, 18 rares, 23 uncommons, and 24 commons. And these cards were composed of the 18 holos being, I believe, numbers 1 through 18, and actually 1 through 17, because the 18th one was actually at the very end. We had 83, so it was kind of fun. And then 18 to 31 and 71 to 73 were going to be your rares, along with 80, which was the energy. And then your uncommons were going to be 32 to 48 and 74 to 77 and 81 and 82. And then to top it all off, your commons were going to be numbers 49 to 70 and 78 and 79. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, that's a lot of numbers to have to remember. But so that comprised of all the cards, and there were 68 Pokemon, there were 11 trainers, and 4 energies here in the American set. So that comprised all 83 cards that we got. And there were still 11 cards per pack. We're still doing that for quite a long time, actually, so, we don't have to worry about getting rid of that. So these packs composed of 7 commons, 3 uncommons, 1 rare, and that rare could be 1 in 3 packs, a holographic here in America, but in Japanese, it was basically always a holographic. And the English boxes basically contain 36 packs, and the Japanese contain 60. Fun fact, this was the first English set to not be packaged in the cardboard blisters. So that's kind of a fun little, tidbit. There were 3 artworks for this pack. There was Giovanni, there was Gyarados, and Team Rocket. So that was your 3 packs that you would get. Now, for the chase cards, you had Dark Blastoise number 2, and then you had Dark Charizard and Dark Dragonite? Yeah. And then you had Rocket Sneak Attack, and then you had 83, which was the super rare Dark Raichu. And the pack was basically $3 back then, and $110 for a box. And actually it was 3, 4, and 5 were the card numbers for the chase cards, the Blastoise and stuff. Now, the packs are nuts because the boxes in Japanese were $35,000 for a Japanese box, which is the most expensive. And an unlimited is $18,000 here in America. And then a first edition, well, that's going to be basically about 28 grand if you're willing to spend that kind of money. The set is pretty easy to figure out. It's just the R, the capital R. That's the rocket little symbol that you see in the anime. Number 882, 8 out of 82, that was a Dark Gyarados, and that was a pre-release. It had a little pre-release stamp on it. You could get that if you went to the pre-release events. Now, the Cosmo Holofoil that started in base set 2, yeah, it's continuing here, and we're going to continue it for quite a while. Sorry, got a little tickle in my throat there. But there were 2 theme decks that were Devastation and Trouble. Now, Devastation was Giovanni's deck and had a Dark Weezing as the holographic, and it was a Grass Water deck. And then Trouble, well, that was the Team Rockets deck, Jesse and James. And it had a Dark Arbok, and that was a Grass and Psychic deck. So that was your 2 decks that you had. And pretty much that's kind of where you landed off. I mean, that was all the information. It was a lot that was going on with this set, and it's been pretty crazy as of late making this video. Normally I don't talk about modern stuff, but this being the history of the 25th anniversary. But, right now, with Destined Rivals coming out, the new set for Team Rocket, there's pretty much a lot of hype around Team Rocket stuff. But, yeah, I'm really excited to show my collection to you and really excited to give these stats. So now I'm going to do what I usually do standard, and I'm going to go and get my cards, and I'm going to show off my holographic set to all of you.
So, here I've got what I always have. I've got my cards from my personal collection that I've obtained over the years, so I'm going to show you all my holographics. We've got 19 cards to go through, including the pre-release at the end, so let's get on into it. So, the first one here is the Dark Alakazam. Just really cool artwork, really shiny, really pretty. The second one here is the Dark Arbok, and I always like this one. I like that it's Arbok, Cobra, just like Ekans and Snake. I always thought that was kind of cool that they did the name that way. But yeah, definitely a really cool Pokemon. I like it. The third one here is one of the big boys. As I talked about, one of the chase cards. Number 3, it's Blastoise, Dark Blastoise. And, this is the only set where you can get him as Dark. So, definitely a chase card for sure. And just really cool, really, really ferocious looking. I really like the way that he looks that way. Then number 4, this is the probably most expensive card in the set by a long shot. This is the Dark Charizard. And, what can you say? It's a Charizard. Everybody loves Charizard. If it's a Charizard, it's probably going to be wanted by a lot of people. Moving on here. Number 5 is Dark Dragonite. And this is the holographic version. I never cared to get it, but apparently there is a non-holographic version that's like an error out there. It's like number 5 of 82, so just kind of a fun little tidbit there. But yeah, this is the one that I've had for years, and it's just really cool. Then right here, we have number 6, which is Dark Dugtrio. So I always thought that was kind of a cool Pokemon for sure. So definitely, not the most expensive, but cool Pokemon. What can we say? Number 7 here is Dark Golbat, and again, just not too much to say. It's not expensive per se. It's not one of the biggest chases you can get out of the set, but it definitely completes the set. And it's got a cool holo pattern. I don't know. I like it. I'm a fan. Then number 8 is basically your pre-release card, but this is not the pre-release version. We'll get to that later. This is the Dark Gyarados. And again, what can I say? Gyarados, pretty cool Pokemon. I don't know if it's one of the chase cards in the set, but it's definitely a card that I always liked Gyarados. I always thought it was cool just going, from evolving from Magikarp to Gyarados. Just kind of cool how it does that. And then we have number 9, which is Hypno. And not one of my favorite Pokemon, but not one of my least favorite Pokemon either. Just kind of a cool Pokemon and kind of a unique choice, but hey, cool dark Pokemon. And then number 10 is right here, Dark Machamp. So again, I remember this from the base set. I remember the Machamp from the 2-player starter set and stuff. But this one being a Dark Machamp, just kind of cool to finally have it in a dark version. And I'm glad that it was chosen as a holographic, actually. So then you have number 11, which is Dark Magneton. And Dark Magneton, it's alright. I kind of got bored with it, I guess, just because it's not much to look at. It's a magnet with an eyeball. I mean, don't hate it, but definitely not one of my favorites. But still probably one of the cheapest cards in the set if you go for holographics tonight. Then number 12 is number 12 is Dark Slowbro. And so, definitely kind of a just chill Pokemon. I do kind of vibe with that. Sometimes just want to, take it slow. So then you have number 13, which is Dark Vileplume. And I remember this Pokemon appearing a couple times in the anime. I remember pulling this card actually as a kid, so I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but I don't remember actually being overexcited that it was a Vileplume. I just remember being happy that it was a holo. So yeah, there's that. Number 14 is Dark Weezing, and this is a card that you would get in the team that you would get the Giovanni deck. And just kind of an easier card to come by, but definitely a cool card if you remember the Pokemon that was in the anime event, So now we're moving on to, again, the first holographic trainers that were in the TCG for us. And so basically you have, here comes Team Rocket. And, this card was definitely sought after by people. It was pretty sought after, I think, just because people connected it with the anime. Just like this next one that we're coming up on here. The Sneak Attack. Because Team Rocket's Sneak Attack, it connected to the anime, and I think that's why people really liked it. I know that's why I liked it, and why I just had to have it. And then we have the energy there. This is a Rainbow Energy. And this was our first holographic energy that we got in the TCG, and the first that we got in a set like this. So it was pretty cool to get the Rainbow Energy in a holographic, and I remember just wishing that they would hurry up and release the other energies in holographic, which they eventually did, in promo form and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just really cool. And so then our final card that we had in the main set was Dark Raichu, and this was 83 of 82. You can see that's why it's a secret rare. It's kind of cool. We didn't have another secret rare for a while, but we'll get there eventually. We'll have more secret rares down the line as Pokemon Timeline continues on. But pretty cool card. I don't know if it was cool enough that it justified moving the set back a couple months just to get it in there. Thanks, Wizards of the Coast, for being particular. But either way, cool card. First secret rare in English, so cool. Then our final card here, this isn't in the main set. This is just basically if you went to the pre-release, like I said earlier, if you went to the pre-release, then you would basically get this. And you can see that it's the Dark Gyarados. It's got the pre-release stamp there, and that's how you knew. That's not worth a lot. It's just kind of a cool card that was kind of indicative of, hey, you can get this if you come to the pre-release and check out the new set. So yeah, that's basically my card set for this. This is my holographics, and as always I love showing these off to you, just to kind of show you my collection, document it along with the 25th anniversary history of the Pokemon Timeline series in the TCG for Team Rocket.
And with that, fellow Pokemon trainers and masters, that brings to a close another episode of Pokemon Timeline. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because these episodes will continue to come out periodically as the 25th anniversary of each Pokemon set arrives down the line. Until next time, keep collecting, and remember, you gotta catch 'em all. See you later.